Hey everyone, it's been a while, but welcome back to another video. As you can probably see from the video name and the screen, today's topic is going to be Avatar: The Last Airbender. More specifically, what would a South Asian Avatar: The Last Airbender look like? Like most people my age, I have grown up watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now that it's finally on the American Netflix, I got the chance to rewatch it after years, and it has stood the test of time. I loved it when I was a child, and now as a 20-something-year-old, I really appreciate the creative effort and storytelling involved. The show did what no other American show has done before and unfortunately since. It drew inspiration from a multitude of Asian cultures. It included elements of Asian history, and most importantly, the characters of Avatar were predominantly Asian. While I love everything about Avatar, I suddenly became curious after seeing this makeup artist's reimagining of Avatar. What would a South Asian Avatar: The Last Airbender look like? What would the characters wear? So, after hours of scouring Pinterest and fawning over every saree I saw, I finally composed this video. Without any further ado, here's what I think a South Asian Avatar: The Last Airbender would look like. Starting off with the element of air. Based on the show, Air Nomad Society seems to be egalitarian. Yes, there are more scholarly monks, but for the most part, everyone seems to dress similarly and simply. No one really stands out, as the focus is more on a person's spirituality rather than their outward appearance. For the air nomads, I have chosen simple silhouettes comprised of kurta and pants under for comfort and modesty when flying and doing cool airbending tricks. Also, the term nomad implies traveling and moving from place to place frequently. It is safe to assume that air nomads might purchase clothing from different cities if they need to. So, some air nomad attire might be more adorned than others, but only as a product of buying what is available to them rather than wanting to stand out. Like their style of dress, air nomad makeup is also very simple. The nomads that choose to wear makeup might go for the natural look, or even add a slight highlight if they want to add some pizzazz. Moving on to the Earth Kingdom. This one was really hard for me, as the Earth Kingdom is huge and encompasses several different styles of living. Some people have lost everything and are fleeing the Fire Nation, while others, like the Beifongs and those in Omashu and Ba Sing Se, are living a relatively luxurious lifestyle. So, to make this easier on myself, I've decided to split up the Earth Kingdom and make Ba Sing Se its own section, so please keep watching for that. Like I said previously, the inhabitants of the Earth Kingdom are no strangers to strife. They are at war with the Fire Nation, and their cities are being destroyed or colonized, or both. This political turmoil results in a stratified and disjointed society. The lower classes are those that directly feel the wrath of the Fire Nation and whose everyday lives are touched by the war. For that reason, I have dressed the lower class in something more practical, such as pantsuits and dupattas. I find that the silhouette can easily adapt to the varying terrains of the Earth Kingdom and is comfortable enough to make the long journey to Ba Sing Se if necessary. Unlike the lower classes though, the middle and upper class might actually see some benefits to the war. The middle class in particular are comprised of tradesmen, businessmen, and merchants who may profit off the production and distribution of goods during wartime. For all those reasons, I think the wardrobe of the middle class will be of a much higher standard than that of the Earth Kingdom lower classes. It'll include better quality fabric and moderate amounts of embellishments. However, the colors the middle class wear may be more muted so as to not attract the wrong kind of attention, both from the Fire Nation and from desperate Earth Kingdom citizens who have resorted to crime in order to survive. Considering the Beifongs were renowned for their wealth across the Earth Kingdom and the world, it would be an understatement to say that the Earth Kingdom elites are simply rich. Nevertheless, the attire of the elite class is still somewhat shaped by war. Yes, they dress elegantly, of course, but unlike those safe behind the walls of Ba Sing Se, most Earth Kingdom elites are going to downplay their wealth. As far as makeup goes, the obvious choice for every day would be earth tones. However, I do see Earth Kingdom citizens on occasion wearing bold jewel shades. And I think the ruling classes and the upper crust would take this up a notch by pairing bolder makeup looks with more elaborate jewelry. The most notable Earth Kingdom character from the series is Toph. She's down to earth and does not care much about material things, or at least she gives off the vibe that she doesn't care. Her greatest trait is her unrivaled earthbending skills. For that reason, I've put her in something that is not going to hinder her bending. With these pants especially, she can get into earthbending stances comfortably. Because of their differences, I've decided to split up the water tribes. For this video, let's start with the Southern Water Tribe, home to Katara and Sokka. Like the air nomads, the Southern Water Tribe seems to have a somewhat egalitarian society. There are some positions of power, such as chief, which indicate a system of achieved status, but everyone seems to be pretty equal. I think this has a lot to do with the history of the Southern Water Tribe. They suffered immensely at the hands of the Fire Nation, and as a result of war, lost a large portion of their population, particularly the men. There simply isn't enough people around to create a more complex social organization. And the years of war taught the community to work together to survive the harsh terrain. I decided to dress the Southern Water Tribe in natural materials with minimal embellishments. Like I said before, their society is less stratified than their northern sisters, meaning there isn't really a social need for much ornamentation or differentiation in dress styles. As for Katara, I really wanted to stay true to the silhouette she wears on screen. The shirt and pant combination is practical for her as she spends her time bending, traveling, and training the avatar. She needs something that's not going to get in her way. However, she's still very feminine, and the shawl serves as a reminder of that, as well as metaphorically symbolizing her element, water. Moving on to Southern Water Tribe makeup. I chose to have a natural makeup look, but I wanted a bold addition of blue eyeliner or eyeshadow for special occasions. Across the globe is the Northern Water Tribe. From what we've seen on the show, Northern Water Tribe society is a direct contrast with their southern counterparts. The northern city is far more developed and modern, the governing body is more structured, and ruling positions are inherited rather than achieved. Moreover, the Northern Water Tribe has not yet been decimated by the Fire Nation. Successfully evading attack from the Fire Nation means that the Northern Water Tribe's population remains stable, allowing its residents to be more specialized and therefore creating a more intricate social hierarchy. The average Jane of the North would be wearing something similar to her southern counterparts. However, because the North has enjoyed a more prosperous and stable 100 years than the South, the lower classes might have more income to purchase higher quality clothing. The middle class of the Northern Water Tribe is where we might see the North's gender dynamics come into play more clearly. The women of the Northern Water Tribe are traditionally given less laborious and more stereotypically feminine roles such as healer rather than warrior. In the middle classes, it would not be surprising to see more women staying at home or finding employment in low labor jobs. Therefore, practicality is not a major factor, allowing them to wear more restrictive silhouettes such as saris. And considering that they are most likely from the merchant class, they may even wear higher quality materials with more vibrant prints and adornments. The ruling class of the Northern Water Tribe is depicted as having political and spiritual authority over those that they rule over. This means that women are going to wear clothing that physically distinguishes them from the other classes. Here we'll see the highest level of embellishment and embroidery. I've chosen long and big lehengas for the elite women. The width of the skirt creates a physical distance between the upper crust and the rest of society. The North's most proudest claim is their spirituality, so I wanted the makeup to look otherworldly but also rooted in the ocean. These pearl looks embody that perfectly. It's hard to think of the North without thinking about Princess Yue. What would she wear if Avatar was South Asian? For Yue, I chose to include a sari jacket that had a scale design, which not only ties her to the water tribe but also to the moon spirit, which is presented as a fish on the show. Now, moving on to the most infamous of them all, the Fire Nation. At the start of the 100 Years' War, the Fire Nation underwent their equivalent of the Industrial Revolution. Throughout the series, we see Fire Nationers utilizing machinery such as steamboats and tanks, whereas in other nations, the tech is relatively underdeveloped. The water tribes are limited to canoe travel. Earth Kingdom has trains and stuff, but they're powered by bending rather than technology. And the air nomads are, So, if there are industrial innovations in the Fire Nation army and transportation, then there most likely are innovations in other industries too, making goods such as clothing easier to produce and more affordable for the masses to consume. So, how would the working class of a major world power dress like? Since their industrial developments would have made clothes easier to produce and more affordable to buy, clothing would no longer be an investment. The working class can afford to buy clothes regularly and get rid of old clothes, which means they can keep up with the trends and foster more diverse styles without breaking the bank. The middle class of the Fire Nation is experiencing a pretty cushy period of time. I see the middle class as being merchants, business people, and local political figures. These people's daily lives are benefited by colonization. It drives their businesses. So, it's safe to assume that during the 100 Years' War, the Fire Nation middle class saw a large increase in their wealth, which means that they can afford richer material and more elaborate prints. But all this pales in comparison to the ultra-luxurious and lavish wardrobe of the elite and ruling classes. In comparison to the other nations' elites, Fire Nation clothing is the highest quality and the detailing is the most ornate. For the Fire Nation elites and royalty, clothing isn't a personal choice, it's a political message, a confirmation of their authority and a symbol of their power. Basically, it's an aspiration for Fire Nation citizens and a threat to the rest of the world. My makeup choice for the Fire Nation is gonna be pretty cliche, but I think that a smoky eye look really is the best choice. It's intimidating yet bold. Another look is the red eyeshadow look because it resembles a certain scar on a certain banished Fire Nation prince's face. But can you really talk about the Fire Nation without bringing up Azula's girl gang? Starting off with our favorite scene kid, May. I chose to put her in this beautiful all-black sari. It's emo yet elegant. Next up is Ty Lee. She's one of the few Fire Nation citizens we see deviate from the red and black color combo. So I chose a vibrant printed sari in a bold coral. Last but certainly not least is Azula. Azula is all about her perfection. Even having the hair out of place is not good enough for her, so I put her in a slick black sari with regal gold details. Azula's girl gang isn't the only awesome girl group on Avatar. The Kyoshi warriors have a style that is heavily inspired by East Asia, but for the purposes of this video, I decided to stay true to the color scheme and silhouette of the warriors' attire. The pant gives the girls more movement while fighting, while the top stays true to the feminine silhouette shown on the show. As far as Kyoshi warrior makeup goes, I had to stay true to that glorious eyeshadow look. Moving on to what is probably my favorite location of the show, Ba Sing Se. Impervious to Fire Nation attack, Ba Sing Se has attracted people from all over the Earth Kingdom. In many ways, the city is a diverse cultural hub and a safe haven for the war-weary. However, Ba Sing Se society is extremely stratified, going so far as to physically separate the classes, which means that dress styles are going to vary drastically between groups. Starting off with the most populous group, the lower classes are a mix of commoners and refugees. I wanted to capture, through color and styling, the flurry of a city undergoing a massive influx of people. The middle class is much more subdued. However, because they are living in a space virtually untouched by war, the middle class is able to control a fair bit of wealth and property. For this reason, I chose to dress the middle class in pretty ornate clothing. They'll wear bold colors, intricate prints and patterns, and have a decent amount of embellishments. But all subtleties are thrown completely out the window when it comes to the elite class of Ba Sing Se. The members of this class have access to the wealth of the entire Earth Kingdom. Yes, there's a war going on, but the ruling class of Ba Sing Se are blissfully ignorant of that fact. So therefore, they have no qualms about full-on displaying their wealth for all to see. They're gonna wear lavish jewelry and rich golden fabrics. and the makeup would be equally glamorous. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I've enjoyed making it.